Boy, Kansas, say gray Honda SUV, unknown.
20 miles straight out, license 797, David Boy, returning on a 2010 Honda CRV to a Dong Lee out of Leawood, Kansas, showing expiration of July 22. No one.
311, County.
311, shooting quick.
Radio is breaking up. You said 470 in Raytown? You get one in Elaine, you said?
Copy, it's debris, 470.
Yep.
Raytown Road, no visual. Positive here.
Morning, Mark. I'm in Westport. Get tired of driving.
234.
Will you confirm the clear stall for the other end, please, Iowa?
Possible heart issues. Okay, cannabis edible. Cross Street Mills and 45th Place, 140 Street 2, and 237. Denied.
10-4, negative prior.
14, just some further information. This is probably not a stroke, or probably just a reaction to a 40-year-old female trying edibles for the first time.
Mm.
Is the age 4 or 40? 40.
40.
I copy, thank you. Okay.
When I bought my police scanner, which was very expensive, I ordered the package where it was pre-programmed, and I think it works pretty good, except the antenna is really small and doesn't pick up very far.
614 Kansas license.
Although when I was in Independence, I was hearing a car chase all the way down at 151st and 69, which is down in southern Johnson County, Kansas. And
2009 Hyundai.
for the other stuff, I just use the app and listen to the app on the phone.
September 22 expiration.
Careful.
ordered it online from Uniden.
What was our warrant for? And what's the bond?
It comes and goes around here. The best one that everybody listens to is this one out of Lee Summit, which heavily favors the Lee Summit Police Department, Eastern Jackson County. But it does a good job of catching the Kansas City Fire Department too. And tonight it looks like it's about 2.5 minutes behind.
It was taken from Amazon. A vehicle was left running. There's no suspect information. Do we need help?
That woman's wearing stockings or leggings. She looks really cold. Yeah. Is this guy peeing?
Cherokee.
Okay, 242. Now 15 status check.
Oh, 5 fatal shootings in Albuquerque. No, that's not true. That's not a nightly average for KC. There have been some days where we've had that many.
So I'm sorry. Yep, we're okay.
But
in service when I have multiple citations.
there's a lot of nights where we have none.
Also, no report needed.
I do not know. There's a place around the corner that serves food out of the window, and it's I think it's actually pretty good. You heard about Joe's Pizza? He retired. He retired Halloween night, so he's gone. And over on Westport Road, there's a sushi place, and there's a ramen place coming, and there's a place called Chicken and Waffle. I haven't tried any of them, but I've actually kind of wanted to. And then there's Big Biscuit, where Fusion used to be. That's if you like to eat a big breakfast. I usually like to go to Town Topic on Baltimore. for breakfast type stuff.
Brian McConnell out of Pullman on Eagles Pickle Day. If you do stop it, Pullman Hill has Georgia.
And the best Vietnamese restaurant that we love is Vietnam Cafe up on Campbell, which is over in the Northeast. They're really nice people in there. They serve good food, and it's not very expensive. But that place is quite often packed, especially during lunch. We've also done, what's the name of this place over here? Let's see if I can find it.
382 King Sam, 382 King Sam, Kansas. Is about what you got.
32 Lincoln King Sam from the 2012 Mitsubishi to the Leona Levera Berlin Park Expression, November 30th of 21 on.
License. Missouri Nora Edward 1, Edward 3 Victor.
Char Bar. We've gone there a couple times. They're pretty good. And we can argue what the best barbecue is. We think the best barbecue is Joe's Kansas City. It used to be Oklahoma Joe's. But we also like Gates. Every so often we do Arthur Bryant's. I think they're gone.
On Lincoln, George 3, David 1 Frank Lincoln, George 3, David 1 Frank.
I'm not sure. Saigon 39. I thought that was on 39th Street. There's one that was on the boulevard, and they were killed by a building collapse. Then the infamous, they have a market across the street that was burned down by, I believe, the owner of the building.
Northbound 435, south of Sun Valley Road, with Missouri Robert George 4, Edward 0 X-ray. We have black and color Hyundai Elantra, occupied one side rental.
Gates is great because you can walk in there and the wait isn't too long. But Joe's, generally you should try and order either by the app or by phone before you go in. They've always had a million-mile long line, but it's been made worse by the beerfluenza epidemic.
Washington. And Robert Charles 0159. And Robert Charles 0159.
Stop and hold up, Pleasant Hill.
I did. I'm heading out forward to 150 now. Make sure he gets dark out there.
I copy. There is for him or present address, not Pleasant Creek.
People very rarely go that way.
There's a Toyota Tacoma.
You have to be careful when you drive that alley too. You don't run over anybody.
8279.
Be Liberty Parkway, Campbell, on a red and color passenger car. No license information. No license.
Will you come up copy traffic stop at Liberty Parkway and Campbell? Spur Valley headquarters. Go ahead, Deacon. Good one, green. Action 1, green 250.
It's like these ladies are waiting for a ride.
Council one.
Uh, 21, 2007 Toyota Corolla.
Actually, I got that from YouTube. See, the thing is, for whatever reason, a lot of YouTubers were getting demonetized if they say the C word, because advertisers don't like it, so they were finding themselves losing advertising revenue on their pages. So they were coming up with different words, like since it was named after a certain beer, so a lot of people called it the beer flu, and I just added beer fluenza to that instead of beer flu.
90 Henry 5 232.
I haven't had any issues with YouTube, but then they don't look at me because my stuff is so such a low count. What's my 40? Where am I at? I guess. I don't know. Where am I at?
8279, go ahead.
36 and service my board.
Pennsylvania Avenue.
Copy,
I'm sitting right in front of the where the phone booth is and the caboose. Real close to Harpo's.
Into 2004 Pontiac.
Right across the street from Harpo's.
Out of Liberty, 22 expiration, no one.
I believe that place on the corner is Fidel's, the cigar place, and next to it is Westport Saloon, which I shouldn't be hanging out in front of Westport Saloon. There's a person in there that I sort of want to have a personal history with that I will not involve myself with.
Copy, your traffic stop is being 172nd. Zebra Boy 08 Henry 7 Young comes back to 2010 Mazda, registered to a Christopher Jaworski at Garden City, the 22 iteration, no one.
Um,
253.
I'm facing southeast, but you know how Westport is kind of at a weird angle to the rest of the city.
8279, headquarters.
What's the name of that hotel over there? I know if I were to drive straight, I'd end up in St. Luke's front door.
Vaccine 1, St. Mary's.
See if I can pan over to that. No, this thing doesn't allow me to.
Stabilized, taxi, St. Mary's at 254.
Service, I'll be in service at the one.
This one does.
Vehicle.
Embassy Suites by Hilton, Kansas City Plaza. It's like right in front of me.
You know, for Texas.
Taxi. says sideways.
Yeah, I'm saying, I got that. It's right for view high, and number 30 lane. Yeah, get it.
Second car I seen pull down that alley. Of course, you know, if I were to take a left on that alley there, I'd end up at Buzzard Beach. Huh. Yeah, didn't you say you used to live in Buzzard Beach?
County, South 35, Grand Campbell, 255.
311 time at it southbound on 7 on the letter 150. It's going to be unfounded for me.
Copy.
Yeah, I'm not sure if this is because of the beerfluenza epidemic or what, but this is a Wednesday night, which is why I live stream, because I figure if anything nutty is going to happen, it's going to happen on a Wednesday night. Actually Thursday morning, but still technically Wednesday night. And or maybe it's Wednesday night, but technically it's Thursday morning. Maybe that's more.
Yeah, it's been removed to the grass on the right. Back first.
So I like to come around here when the bars close, in case something weird happens. But I think the beerfluenza epidemic has kept at least Hump Day down. I don't know what it's going to be like on Blackout Wednesday, which is the Wednesday night before Thanksgiving. I might come here for that and watch all the college students slosh around.
Okay.
President recover stolen auto and safety pay. I scanned the recovery message to your email.
Was it you or Bob Cutler that told me that the old Hurricane Riot Room is being turned into a sports bar? I'm like, yeah, you know, the world needs another sports bar. Like we need more rude people. Yeah, I think so. I think I remember it was him telling me that. Because I was kvetching about there being no venues in Kansas City, or hardly any venues anymore for music, live music. My old haunt when I was going to college back in the late 80s was the Lone Star. But then I stopped listening to metal bands, got disenchanted with that whole scene, and got into alternative music. Because I started listening to KKFI all the time. Well, heck, I wish something would happen. I mean, I don't wish anything bad to happen, but I wish something would happen that I could go to. Yeah, I saw you doing that. We used to nickname the shadow the Shallow. And one time when I was in the Air Force, I went with this guy that I worked with in my office, and we were joking around that the shadow was like, wow, these people have perfect hair, beautiful teeth, nice smiles, great bodies, and the women aren't bad either. Remember in 1990, before I went into the Air Force, I had to go to, was it called the Shadow then? Maybe, I can't remember. To see oh, now it's slipped my mind. Sin City Disciples and the Pedal Jets playing together.
Frank Street, and Edgerton on Missouri 6 Mary David.
Yeah, that is interesting to see those bands there.
4-3.
It's such a small venue.
Silverado, on the Rock Coast.
That would have probably been in the 1980s.
Street in Edgerton.
Dr. Thomas Roth out of Edgerton or HOV expression 22.
Yep, my first outdoor concert that I attended was at Volker Park, and it was Mudhead, Kill Whitey, Sin City Disciples. Who else? It was the Artists for Amnesty show that Ann Winter put on. That was July 1989.
Show the man survey and you want available.
Transferred engine 1 available 304.
I don't know what's going on here. This guy is talking to Westport Security about something. Looks a little nervous. Oh, Oh, thanks. Suyen took most of those. I did the video. That's the way we work it now. She shoots the still pictures with her iPhone, and I shoot the video. She doesn't think much of my videos.
Combat 1 transporting 305.
Who's good now? Like, as in places or bands? If you're talking about music, I've kind of fallen out of it too. When YJ's was open, I was listening to a lot of the jazz music they were playing in there and getting to know a lot of those guys, and I liked a lot of them. I never really liked jazz that much until I started until I got the Rhino Records Beat Generation 4 CD set. I think it was 4 CDs. And was listening to the music, and I was getting into reading beat poetry and literature, and started getting into the bebop and everything else like that. Yeah, that's been going on for the past couple of years. They're busy tearing down our terminals, but I think everybody in Kansas City actually likes the old terminals.
Number 19, Medic 19, 3845 Broadway. Stage for PD on an overdose, A4.
Uh-oh,
Number
overdose.
19, Medic 19, 3845 Broadway. Stage for PD on an overdose, A4.
Real close to here. Which don't care about. Yeah.
Victor George 9, North 6 Union, Victor George 9,
Strictly
North 6
Squaresville.
Australia.
Copy, Skyview and Ambassador. I'll show you how your license. Victor George 9, North 6 Union, shows 23 on a 15 Dodge. Laura Hartman out of Kansas City. Hello?
There's some interesting stuff that came to fruition in the late 50s, early 60s, and then it kind of, I don't know.
On freight for X6 Union, on freight for X-ray.
That was back when you could go into San Francisco and afford to live there.
Dodge, Caravan to Ian Gilburn, follow job 1, May 22 expiration.
Copy, thank you.
I think the last time we were in San Francisco was in 2017 when we visited Yosemite, and then we went to Muir Woods, and we spent a day in San Francisco. And I believe I have it on video. We went to what is it, the San Remo, and we were sitting there, and I was going, I think I've heard of this place. This is a place where Jack Kerouac used to hang out. And we were sitting there, and these people were. Yeah, I think they could. I think they could do something with the old terminals and modernize them and not tear them all down. I like those terminals. They're. I'm trying to. I think I don't know what kind of the style of architecture, but I think that's a style that's becoming popular called brutalism, which is usually these big, massive concrete structures. I think that a lot of the the desire to build the new terminal is like put people to work basically, and of course you know the a lot of input comes from Homeland Security and everything on that. So, but also I think Kansas City is really trying to modernize, and I keep saying what they're trying to do is they're actually trying to get ready for the Republican National Convention. And sure enough, in the headlines last week, they're bidding on the Republican National Convention, and all the requirements for things like they're also bidding on FIFA World Cup, and all the requirements for that is they have to have so many hotel room beds that are close to the convention centers, everything's centrally located. And I used to complain about that, but then I realized one of the other requirements is the transportation system has to be set up. And I'm really happy that we have our streetcars and everything now. So I think this whole thing with modernizing the airport is a big part of that push to make Kansas City a big convention city again. If you go downtown, the southern skyline is now dominated by their big 1,000-room hotel, and I think you could probably walk from that hotel into the convention center without stepping outside. There now. Far cry from the old school days when the only people who traveled, went to conventions and stuff, were salesmen, and I do mean men. And what was set up for them was where their hotels and everything were, was also where all the strip joints and the hookers were. I'm gonna have to make a phone call. I have to turn off the audio for a second. I'm trying to figure out how to do that. Here.
I have 313.
Yeah, there it is. sorry, I had to talk to my boss, find out what we're doing. Yeah, I don't know who talks bad about the Kansas City airport, other than I think for some people Kansas City looks like an overgrown commuter airport, which is sort of what it is. It would tenuously hold on to its international title with I think there were times when it was just one flight somewhere outside of the US. I think most people would go to St. Louis in this area. And then commute over to Kansas City. But I'm not the hugest of fans of the St. Louis airport. That's kind of a mess. And I think one of the worst airports in the world is LAX. That could be, especially if you have to change planes and go between terminals, which means you have to board a bus. People don't like to have to leave the building and go to another building. We had to do that in Manila. The Ninoy Aquino Airport is the international terminal and the local terminal are not connected, so you have to board something. Oh, yeah, I imagine. So he has to change planes and get
I'm at the light of Inglewood and Ortho. Part of you pulled over.
basically on a commuter plane to St. Louis.
You know what you have that.
Now, when I applied for the job at Channel 4, I was working in Decatur, Illinois. Channel 4 paid for my flight to Kansas City. I was in the morning and out in the afternoon. And to get from Decatur to St. Louis was a commuter plane. The first and only time I've ever ridden in a commuter plane. And then I boarded a TWA plane from St. Louis to Kansas City. This was 97, I think? So flew from St. Louis to Kansas City on a something like a I think it's 727 or something like that, a small plane. You mean with their Presidente that they have there, Duterte? that's been going on for quite some time. And at the time that they're doing Duterte, we were doing Trump. So what is unstable? Mostly what we're worried about with the Philippines right now is the beer flu, and I don't know if you knew this, but it killed one of my brother-in-laws. June 30th, he died of beer fluenza. June 30th, did I say that? They just given that, what's her name? Is her name, last name Raza? She used to be a CNN, big CNN correspondent, and she started her own network in the Philippines. What's it called, Rappler? He got her thrown in jail, and then she got a big award, like, oh, she just got the Nobel Peace Prize. Warnell Road, Walgreens. Let's see. Well, sometimes that's what it takes. Nobel Peace Prize is to get thrown in jail. Okay. All right.
COVID-19 alert. Before you go, verify info for Walgreens Pharmacy.
The Westport security guy just waved at me. He is not sure of me. That lady that was walking behind him, she's really nice. I was talking to her. The homicide. Shooting. I don't think it was a homicide. What are you talking about? Let's go the entertaining way here. Little tour of Chessport. as it is now. Oh, you know about Californios, don't you? They're shut down. The ice cream place there on the corner has been gone for a while. Murray's left. Then they tried to open up a place that was like Murray's, but that didn't last. Oh, yeah, that's so ridiculous. I'm not fond of corporate lawyers. Can't go right because they got the street torn up. There's Insomnia Cookies, Pickleman's. The Jerusalem Cafe is here. I don't know how good they are. I think we've eaten there once. 0.3 miles to Bellevue Avenue. This is where I got hit by a car right here. So my feelings about Westport are a little mixed these days. I see people walking around all drunk and stuff and just walking down the middle of the street, not watching where they're going. I said, you better not do that in Westport. Somebody's going to run you over. Westport is horrible. I don't know what's going on with this hotel. It used to be the 816 and now they got that covered up. It looks like it's still open, but man, I tell you, a mattress firm must sell only one type of mattress. The hard ones. Can't call drug traffickers drug traffickers. I don't get that. What else are they? I guess you can call them what they are, wholesale illicit drug companies. Mistake. This is the worst light in the world over here. I think it's broken half the time. All it does is stop people, especially coming this way off of Roanoke. It's like this weird 5-way intersection on the west side of the plaza. I usually end up running it because it never changes. Corporate lawyers killed your story because, well, that's weird. Is it like the corporate drug traffickers? Do they hire corporate lawyers? without prying too much, and you wouldn't have to answer this because you get yourself in trouble with it. But I'm beginning to get the feeling you're talking about your own internal corporate lawyers. When I worked at another place, there were times when there was a committee of lawyers that would write our stories for us. Like, you felt really bad for the poor reporter that land on a story that was in the crosshairs of the company lawyers, and they would sit and pick it apart and tell him what he could and couldn't say. And I'm like, well, why don't you guys just write the script and hand it to him? You know, it's basically what you're doing. Instead, you're making him do all the work and guess what he can say and what he can't, or she. Yeah. That's unfortunately when you got to take a chill pill and go have a beer and relax or do whatever and go take a walk and not let it get to you, because the anger will eat you up and not help you at all. I've discovered that the hard way. Well, I hope not. I hope there does seem to be a time in our middle age, at about the time when it's the worst time in the world for us, that we have a career crisis. I know I've dealt with mine, but my career crisis ended up very well for me. I've ended up in a place where everything I wish they did at the last place, they do here. And the people here are really, really nice and they let you know what they think. And you don't guess about anything. Which is actually very healthy and helpful. Alright, this light is not changing. I'm gonna wait for that. Alright, nobody coming? Get across the street really fast. This light is ridiculous. I don't know what the problem is with it. It's always broken, it seems. The best advice I could give is to just hold on as much as you can, and if you do have to make a career change, make sure that you have something to land in before you leave the other. Because I left, it was not the best experience, but then I was forced out of my position by a manager who carried a grudge against me. It's in the hard, stressful times that you really have to do your best to keep your mind even, because you need that to think. So, distractions and recreation and things like that become very important, which sometimes is hard to do when a job can start becoming very demanding, especially if you're dealing with a situation where people are throwing things at you. Because I know what I can imagine what you're going through when you're trying to do something, and then somebody says, "Oh no, that we're gonna kill that," and it leaves a big hole that you have to fill somehow. You know me and my history of depression. I got through 3 years of self-doubt and depression and anger and frustration, and I started doing all those things that they tell you to do, loading up on vitamin D, examining myself, noticing when deep funks. By the way, I notice that when the weather changes, I get depressed. I'm like, wow, not only do I have seasonal affective disorder, and I can tell you when the weather is going to change just by how my mood is. So keeping your mind, maintaining your own mental state is very important, because I found out the hard way that you can take a situation that isn't as bad as you think it is and make it to where you can't really deal with things just by what's in your own mind. Not downplaying that there could be some bad stuff that's happening, but generally with bad stuff that's happening, when you can get through it just one little piece at a time. Albuquerque, Santa Fe, but here in Kansas City, there's sometimes when you don't see the sun for weeks. We've been lucky so far this year, and I remember last year having to deal with the beerfluenza epidemic and being located essentially in a cave in a windowless room, not seeing anybody. I literally would come to work. I even made a sport of it. I'd see how long I could go, how many days I could go and not see a single person. And one of the things that I did was I got a SAD lamp. I don't know if you've heard of those. It's got a funny name, but it's a seasonal affective disorder lamp, or it's like one of those Alaskan lights. Mine is called the Ott light, created by Dr. Ott, O-T-T. And it's a light that basically puts off sunlight. And of course, the things that I'm really bad at doing, which I need to do, is like exercising and proper diet, which I'm horrible at. There's been a lot of people talking about depression lately. Mainly, my friend Bob Cutler, he was talking about depression. A lot of people saying they're having all these similar experiences. one of the things I learned about myself is that no matter what situation I'm in, whether I'm doing really well or doing very poorly, the depression always seems to be there. And I'm like, well, you know what? It doesn't matter. I have to deal with the depression. The depression is like a I don't know how to put it. You know, like there's some people that could be happy and they could be in the worst situations, and there's some people, no matter what, they're always mad or sad or depressed. And you know, knowing you, I got the impression that you were so much a depressive type of person. Seem to have a very buoyant, happy personality. Yeah, let's see, 0.7 miles, turn right. Alright, I'm coming into Waldo. I'm not as familiar with Waldo, but I don't think Waldo really has changed a whole lot. What time is it? 3:49. I might stop at this Trip Quick just to use their bathroom, because I'm not sure. Although the reporter said that where we're going, there's a coffee shop next door. I'm like, woohoo! I think I know. I'm going early so I can test out my TVU, because I don't have a truck, and if I need to have backup, if the TVU is not going to work very well, then I need to know that. So all right. Trip Quicks in New Mexico. I can't remember if we ever stopped at one, if there was one. I don't think there are. Yeah, well, I hope everything is well. I hope everything's going okay. You know, we at our house are always dealing with one crisis after another, health and otherwise. But I'm going in here to take care of business. Oh yeah, that's too bad.
26. It's going to be Cabot, Talia, Line 101, on till 16. We're going to be status 5 at headquarters until 4 for a possible student. Do you want a second?
COVID-19 alert. Before you go, verify info for Walgreens Pharmacy.
I was informing that your warrant is active. It doesn't mean to find the file. Correct. Copy your active location.
Find the child.
Pharma 107 on the unconscious. Engine 2 mid to 1701 Northwest Jefferson Street. Pharma 107 on an unconscious.
check and see if our ATM is working.